News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. The Logan Planning Commission recently approved the plans for a new fast food restaurant coming to the south side of Logan. California-based Jack in the Box will be coming to 1200 South Highway 8991 in the near future. The 2,341 square foot restaurant will occupy 0.8 acres on a 2.76 acre parcel across from the Logan River by Guild Mortgage, an area that will eventually include other fast food and or retail pads. The restaurant will have room to seat 46 occupants inside. The menu for Jack in the Box includes everything from hamburgers to all-day breakfast to tacos and teriyaki bowls. Developers say the 22-foot-tall building will be open late at night and will feature 2 drive-through lanes. Project planner Sherry Miller from Magellan Architects and Highway 89 Plaza LLC told the commission they are proposing to extend canopies above the drive-through windows along the west side of the building and possibly even onto the north side. The restaurant will be the 4th of its kind in Utah. The other 3 locations are all located in southern Utah. There are approximately 2,200 locations throughout the United States, mainly along the west coast, but they're also in Idaho. The first Jack in the Box opened in 1951 in San Diego, where the franchise is still based today. It is not known at this time when construction will begin exactly on the Logan location. KBNU News Time is 4:07. KBNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy skies. Another cold night from 0 to 5 above. It was 2 degrees this morning. And then on Friday, partly cloudy, then clearing. And our old friend, or enemy, I guess, the haze, will be back tomorrow with upper 20s for the high. Hazy conditions, mostly cloudy on Saturday, but warmer. High temperature in the mid-30s. We've struggled to make it up to 21. That's our current temperature at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by the Duct Hunter. Clothes dryer vents can get clogged with lint. Birds can even build nests in them. Let the Duct Hunter clean them out for you. Call 435-770-4813.
We start each new year filled with hope and prosperity for things to come. At Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, it's no different. Dr. Danes is so grateful to get to call Cache Valley home and continue to offer his services to the wonderful people that live in our beautiful valley. He wants to help you start your new year off right by improving your hearing, which over the course of time will help improve your quality of life. Give them a call at 435-753-4327 or 753-HERE to schedule an appointment, or you can visit them online at cachevalleyhearing.com.
KBNU News Time is 4:08. The Family Place Utah invites Cache Valley to join them at the annual Princess and Prince Party to be held this coming Saturday, February 11th at Castle Manor, located at 170 West, 3900 North in Hyde Park. Jennifer Anderson, Associate Director for the Family Place Utah, said they have changed the title a bit to include the princes out there. She said it really is to highlight more of the people they are honoring that come to the event.
So I know in the past it seems like maybe it was just for the princesses, and we wanted to make sure that our other honored guests were our princes in the community that want to come and be a part of this party. So it's for boys and girls of all ages, and the activities, the crafts, the characters that are there, and the royal ball that we have at the end, the different crafts that we do are for boys and girls, and they're for the whole family to enjoy.
Castle Manor will again be hosting this year's event, and that seems to be the perfect venue for this type of event.
Oh, yes, it's a perfect venue for it. There's so much magic that happens there, celebration all year round, and for our Princess and Prince Party, it's the perfect location. So you come up to the building, and there it is, a castle, and we'll have a royal carriage out front. And then you're greeted by our characters and all the different things that will be happening inside.
Anderson said they expect the event to sell out. Tickets will be available for purchase until tomorrow at 5 p.m. or until sold out. The event has been held for over 10 years, and Anderson said some families seem to come every year.
You know, I haven't tracked it as far as names, but with faces, watching those families grow, yes, I do see a repeat of participation, which is wonderful. It's something that they look forward to every year, and we love seeing our new families that come as well, new to not only the event, but perhaps new to our community, and they're learning more about the family place and the rest of all the wonderful organizations that we have in Cache Valley.
Anderson said the morning session on Saturday will be held from 10 a.m. to noon and the afternoon session from 1 to 3 p.m. You can get ticket information at thefamilyplaceutah.org. Matt Bradley scored 18 points, and number 25 San Diego State held on to beat Utah State last night in the Spectrum 63-61. Bradley made his first 7 shots and went 7 of 9 from the field overall to help keep the Aztecs atop the Mountain West Conference standings. Utah State trailed by double digits much of the game until Dan Atkin made a pair of free throws to cap a 9-0 run that cut San Diego State's lead to 62-61 with a minute left. Max Shulga missed a potential winning jumper in the final seconds, and Keishad Johnson's free throw sealed the victory for San Diego State. Stephen Ashworth had 18 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds for Utah State. KBNU News Time is 4:11. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
The newsmakers, the stories. Get it all here. News Talk KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Happy Valentine's Day from Birch Creek and Bluebird Candy. Surprise your Valentine with the Birch Creek Couples League Punch Pass and a box of Bluebird chocolates. Birch Creek's Couples League will be starting up this spring, and your Valentine golfer would love a punch pass and box of chocolates. Pro Shop will be open February 14th from 10 to 4. So stop in and get your Valentine Punch Pass to Birch Creek and box of chocolates from the Bluebird. And happy Valentine's Day from your friends at Birch Creek.
The colder weather is here. Are your quilts and blankets looking dingy? Is your winter coat or jacket dirty enough to stand in the corner just by itself? Well, go to Mount Logan Laundry. It'll take no time at all to freshen up everything. They have the 55 and 80-pound washers, the biggest around, and great big dryers, too, and it costs a whole lot less than dry cleaning. Free Wi-Fi and drop-off service. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town, on the corner of 5th East, 9th North, and Logan, or in Brigham at 1st East, 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have 2 guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Thursday, February 9th. I'm Jason Williams. Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Coming up, highlights from last night's legislative town hall, with the Cache County Republican Party hosting every single one of our Northern Utah representatives, including some from Box Elder County, as part of this town hall. Questions were sent in by the audience in advance. They aren't able to do these live this year, but thankfully they're still doing them on YouTube, so you don't have to make a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. appearance to see these or be a part of these. You can send your questions in advance, as about 30 people did for this town hall last night. It was almost an hour long. And it does allow lawmakers to all be a part of this, whereas if they're in person, you only get the few that can make it by Saturday morning after late nights at the Capitol in Salt Lake. So I love that they're doing them this way. It's easier for them to not do them live, so what they're doing is taking questions in advance, asking the questions, recording that town hall, and then putting it up on their YouTube channel. And it is live. We'll have some highlights for you coming up in hour 2. Right now, though, it is Thursday. It is 4 o'clock. It's time to step away from all of that into, frankly, far more interesting world of arts and entertainment. It's our theater hour with Charlie Schill here in the studio, and we are officially, Charlie, out of the lull, right?
Yep.
Your dance card is full again each week.
Things are really heating up. Not outside.
No. Although deceptively, it looks like they are. Beautiful day out there, but
it's
chilly.
Still only 20.
Ooh,
The
chilly.
inversion is coming back.
Yeah, I expect that
for a
bad
couple
air
days.
to start to collect again. But, which, speaking of bad air, it's a great time to be sitting in a theater seat rather than, out breathing this stuff as it starts to concentrate again. And you have options. For a while now, since the holidays, your options were slim. But I was just looking. And none, yeah, slim to none. And I was just looking at the calendar today. This is a lot. Especially, I should plug this if you're a comedy fan. There's that comedy show coming up at the Eccles.
Starting on the 14th.
That's the 14th, okay.
Yeah.
And then just before that, right, USU kicks off Puffs, which I've got. My interest has grown.
I'm going to that tonight.
Are you?
Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. They originally advertised that for the Lyric Theater.
Oh, that's right.
And it's been moved to the Black Box Theater up on campus.
Tiny.
Which is tiny, yes.
I'm not sure that was a smart move on their part.
Well, they don't have much choice.
Yeah, that's true.
And to kind of make up for that seating capacity, they're doing 2 performances tonight. One at 7, not 7:30.
Oh, really?
7, and then one at 10 o'clock.
Wow, that's interesting. They've never done that before, have they?
I haven't heard them to have done that, and they're doing it for a couple of days.
Interesting. Good idea, because what is that seating wise? Is it like 50?
About 35.
35,
34, something like that.
And I think this might be one of those. You see those shows come along once in a while that they make their guess at audience size, and then they're surprised, and more people want to see it. And
this could be one of those sleepers.
Yeah, I feel like it has that potential.
Primarily because, and I could be left out in the cold tonight, but I'm thinking, and I'm not sure, I haven't read the script or anything like that, that a lot of this is going to depend on you being knowledgeable about the Harry Potter books and movies. Because I suspect they're going to maybe making references to things that Harry is supposedly doing off stage, while the people who are on stage are the minor characters who were kind of left behind in the Harry Potter books.
Okay.
Well, I never got through the first Harry Potter book, so I may be lost. But I think the kids up on campus who are Harry Potter fanatics will turn out in numbers.
Which is basically that exact age group.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if they do, show up in droves, because, well, as I said, my interest in this has increased. I'm familiar. I've seen the movies. I have a lot of younger cousins, and because of that, I've been exposed to the movies. I'm like you. I did slog to the end of that first book, but just not my thing.
It's the Philosopher's Stone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, and
I just never.
I got through it, but it wasn't, and it was. I mean, it was a good read, but it wasn't. They just, again, not my thing. So I never read any more. The movies were, they were what they were. But I respect the fact that this was a cultural phenomena that, a whole generation grew up. It was their Star Wars, basically.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so, I'm curious to see if that translates into them being a little overwhelmed at this very, very small theater for a Harry Potter parody. Just our discussions have kind of piqued my interest in this. Made me think, this might actually be kind of fun to go see. So you're going tonight. You'll have something up on Cache Valley Daily, I assume.
Tomorrow, sure.
Tomorrow.
And tomorrow night is the jazz night at the Lincoln Center at the Eccles Theater.
That should be good.
I think so. They've been doing this thing since they've been performing it in New York since 2006, something like that.
Really?
And 2016, I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
And big audiences, a lot of attention, and they're out on a 47-city tour.
Wow.
Now.
That's a big tour.
Previously, they've taken it to selected venues, Carnegie Hall, places like that. But now they're out to sweep the nation, and I think it should be very good.
I know that the one thing you can definitely bank on is a talented group of musicians on stage.
Oh yeah, and vocalists.
Yeah, because I know they're selective, right?
Oh sure.
This is not just who had free time.
Well, we always talk about how big the talent pool is here in Cache Valley.
Yeah.
Well, is the talent pool in New York City big? Yes, of course it is.
I would guess so. Yes. I would guess there's no shortage of people, lining up to be a part of something like this. And then the recognition for an artist to be a part of a big tour like this, you really get kind of the cream of the crop. And that's a one-night thing, right? That's right. Tomorrow only?
Tomorrow only. And there's still decent seats for the show.
Oh, good. Noticed that, yeah.
So...
And that is at Eccles. That's part of Wendy Hassan's
their national touring season.
Famous touring season. She brings in some great talent.
I'm a little bugged. Here it is, going on middle of February.
Yeah. And
we haven't heard yet anything from Wendy about... Wendy Hassan, the managing director of the Eccles Theater and the Cache Arts organization, about what they're planning to do for the 100th anniversary of the theater.
Oh, I didn't realize that was...
Yeah, and that's in February. That's in March.
Interesting. She's got to have something planned, right? Maybe not. Maybe it's
you can't prove it by me.
That's I have not heard a word, and 100 years. That's fun to think about.
If I see her tomorrow night, I'm going to buttonhole her.
That would be great to see. I'd like to see some recognition for that theater along those lines, because in all its different iterations, it's been a part of Cache Valley, a part of theater, a part of. Date myself here, but I saw Return of the Jedi in theaters there. 1983, 84 year that came out. I saw it at that theater, which was then the Capitol. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, might have been. The original came out in 76, 77.
Yeah.
Something like that. It would have been a couple of years later that they did Revenge of the Empire Strikes Back.
I saw on Golden Pond there with
really?
Henry Fonda, Jane Fonda.
Oh, that's a good old show.
I remember I was very young for this too, but Disney, it wasn't new. It was a few years old. Maybe even older than that. But the original Pete's Dragon was getting a theater revival, and they had a papier-mâché Pete's Dragon in the entryway of the Capitol Theater there as you'd walk. There used to not be doors on the street. The doors were further up in, and so there was this long walkway up to those doors, and they had this papier-mâché Pete's Dragon there.
Hope they didn't allow smokers.
I remember my mom and my aunts having to drag me away from that. Literally. Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio. Definitely something to keep an eye out. Maybe some special events for the 100th year anniversary of the Eccles Theater here in Cache Valley.
Well, that's what she promised.
See. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll be back with more of the Theater Hour with Charlie Schill right after this.
Hi, Hi, this is Erica Hansen, owner of the Red Fox located on historic Center Street. Meet us in downtown Logan and we'll help you plan your favorite Valentine's Day celebration with those you love. In downtown Logan, you'll find great promotions on all the best Valentine's gifts, special dining experiences, and romantic getaways. From all of us in downtown Logan, we wish you all the best this Valentine's Day.
Meet me in downtown Logan.
Friday edition, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. It's the eve of the Super Bowl. I'll be with you out in Phoenix, phenomenal city here in the Valley of the Sun. We'll have some fun rolling into the weekend, getting ready for the Super Bowl, and also continuing to talk about all the big issues out there. We'll be joined by Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin and Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio. Come hang on the Friday edition.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed.
Salute to Burt Bacharach.
Yeah.
Passed away. Well, the news was announced today. That
That's too bad.
93 or 94 somewhere that he was his age.
Yeah, that's the love theme from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah, that's one of my absolute favorite movies. That was, and interestingly enough, for reasons I'm not sure of because I'm not familiar with this world, but I learned this recently from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, E.T., and there's another one I can't remember. It's, Citizen Kane are the three most taught film scripts in film script school. Or film script writing classes. Those are the three most taught, the three scripts that are used most as an example of the perfect movie script.
Say that again?
It was Citizen Kane, E.T., and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. They're revered as perfect scripts, which is interesting because I'm one of the few people in the world that was not wowed by Citizen Kane. I was underwhelmed.
You know, in its era.
It's good, but
it's controversial because it was about Randolph Hearst.
Sure.
And the thing about Citizen Kane, and here we're going off on movies, for God's sake. The camera angles are just phenomenal. There's a sequence where he's running a newspaper, and they wanted to shoot up from below. They dug a hole through the floor of the studio so that they could put a camera at a low angle.
Interesting. That is, I didn't know that. I always recognize the skill and the talent involved, and of course he's a magnificent actor. But I just, for some reason, I got to the end of that movie and I thought, well, I mean, it was really good, but why is this heralded as like the classic? And I figured it out, though, Charlie, and this actually ties back into some things I know you and I have in common with liking the stage. I'm more drawn towards, a more entertaining movie experience, which got me thinking about it. So if I'm movies that I've really liked have either been great action films, great comedies, but when it comes to the stage, I tend to like the darker stuff more. I tend to drift towards. And so I was thinking about this a little while ago, and I realized that it's just there a lot of times, at least in the darker stuff, or what would be maybe classified as darker stuff, the emotions are a little higher, and so it's a little more captivating to sit there and watch what's happening on stage.
I love watching a villain.
Yeah, a good villain.
A good villain.
Yeah.
And, you look at Shakespeare, Macbeth is the hero and the villain rolled all into one.
Which is fascinating
Hamlet
to watch.
is a hero and a villain rolled all into one.
Yeah.
Because Hamlet can't make up his mind what to do.
Oh, sure.
Ever.
That is, that's one of Shakespeare's few unsympathetic main characters is also one of my favorites, King Lear. You're supposed to sort of feel bad for this guy at the same time that he's making really dumb decisions. And in the end, you end up just kind of not feeling bad for him.
But
there's a twist.
King Lear has got 2 strong female villains.
Yeah. Good villains, too.
Good villains.
Yeah, because they're two-faced, and you know it, but he doesn't. And it's so frustrating sometimes. You want to climb up on the stage and yell at the villains. But, yeah, that is one of the most compelling things, I think, to see in a live production is a good villain or a story that's got some real emotional weight to it, which can be done in comedies and thrillers even. Thrillers on the stage are great. That's one of the things that always amazes me when you see, especially something you've seen before, and they're still able to make you feel tense on the edge of your seat. Yeah, that one, I've seen it a few times, and it's still, you still get, your heart rate still kind of gets going during some of those scenes towards the end, and yeah, it's a really fun thing to see, and movies just aren't as great at recreating that as the live stage is. But anyway, bit of a tangent there.
I guess.
Where did we leave off?
I honestly don't know. One of the other things that's going on at the Eccles right now is youth Shakespeare. That they're doing. Kids from 9 to 19 are doing.
Wow, 9.
Well, you know, they don't have auditions. You go in and say you want to do this part.
Sure.
And they let you do it. They're doing Romeo and Juliet. You know, and I'm not sure that young kids from middle school are appropriate to be doing that show.
Yeah.
I mean, Romeo and Juliet are supposed to be teenagers, but, you know, they're 16 to 18 years old, something like that. When Franco Zeffirelli did his movie version of Romeo and Juliet, I can't remember the girl who played Juliet. The movie had an R rating.
Oh, that's right. There's a bit of a scandal over that.
She couldn't get into the theater to see it.
Yeah. That's because she was. I remember there was a little controversy over that too. That both was it just she or both actors claimed that they were told one thing about what would be seen on the screen, and then when they saw the film, they saw something else entirely. They were told that they would not be nude or something like that, and then there they were, or not be shown fully nude.
It's very tastefully nude, but it's still nude.
Yeah, it's. I remember there was a bit of controversy over that due to her age, and yeah, it's
the only time I think that they've ever had a performance with a young girl who was actually 16 when the movie was filmed.
Yeah, that's and the interesting thing to me about Romeo and Juliet, I mean, maybe it's the safest, even despite some of the themes, maybe it's the safest Shakespeare for young people to do, but I always felt like Macbeth was a little more, despite some of the themes, again, if you're going to have young people, exploring Shakespeare, I always thought Macbeth was maybe, but you see Romeo and Juliet a lot in youth Shakespeare.
Youth Shakespeare did Macbeth a couple of years ago, and it was very good.
See, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see young people playing some of those complex.
The funny thing was, they had some older teenagers playing the lead roles, and they had a bunch of really young kids, 9, 10, 11, playing the part of the pages or the messengers who would come in and relay the story. Those parts actually carried the plot of the show, because they'd come in and they'd say, "Hark! the enemy army approaches, blah, 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 blah. And,
that's great.
And those kids had their lines memorized, and they spit them out,
That's
slam, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Well, and that's what's fun about seeing young people in some of these productions is to see the talent that I have none, so my frame of reference is low. But oftentimes you see young people and think, man, that kid is going to have he or she's going to have a career if they want one, and that's kind of cool to see. And I remember you walked away from last year's Youth Shakespeare feeling that way. There were a couple of standouts to you that you thought,
yeah, but
probably see around a bit.
It's one of the things that really surprised me is after they did Merry Wives of Windsor.
Yeah, which was an odd choice.
And it was a comedy, and they had a girl playing Falstaff, which was interesting. But I drew a reference to the fact that the female leads were all tall girls, were older girls, and their supposed husbands were kind of pudgy little fellas.
Yeah.
And one of the women who was involved in it sent me a long email criticizing my choice of words, saying that I had scarred the poor little devils.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I do remember that.
And
even though you were very nice and fair, and complimentary.
Hate is in the eye of the beholder very often. So I've just sworn off Youth Shakespeare.
That's It's well, and it's worth pointing out too. I mean, I'm not sure how they'll do Romeo and Juliet, but a lot of times the Logan Youth Shakespeare, they've done pieces of the production. So you get the story and you get all the performances that are the highlights of the show, but they don't necessarily do the entire 3-hour production.
We've seen abridged versions, but I'm not sure.
I don't know with Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet isn't a particularly long Shakespeare play, just like Macbeth is one of the shorter ones of his.
Yeah, I saw
Shakespeare's canon.
I saw Macbeth done in an hour once by a high school group, and it kind of worked.
Back when I was working with the Temple Civic Theater, I did an adaptation of Taming of the Shrew for a one-act play festival that they were going to perform in, and we managed to get, we preserved all the parts of Taming of the Shrew that people expected to see in an hour.
That's interesting.
With about half of it cut out.
Yeah, that was similar to the Macbeth, the high school production that I saw. It was actually for a competition, not a stage, a full-on ticketed stage production. But they did an hour-long Macbeth and hit all the high points, all the things you expect to see. If you've seen it enough, you knew exactly what they left out.
Yep.
And it still worked, and it was over and done with quick, and you got to see their talent. And Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio, talking theater in Cache Valley. Puffs, USU, through the Kane College of the Arts, opening this week. Charlie headed to that tonight. Jazz, courtesy of Jazz at the Lincoln Center, a national tour hitting Logan tomorrow night. Youth Shakespeare that we've been talking about here starts today as well, runs through next Tuesday, including a Saturday matinee at 2 p.m., but all the other events are, it looks like, at 6:30 each evening, tonight, tomorrow, and then Monday and Tuesday with, a Saturday matinee at 2. But there's plenty more on the Cache Arts calendar, USU's calendar, and more, and we'll cover it all, or try to, right after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:39, and the news is brought to you by U&I Furniture. Police are asking the public for information on an armed robbery that happened last Friday at a Pocatello area convenience store. A man entered the Jet Stop around 7:50 p.m. and pointed a handgun at the clerk, according to a news release from the Pocatello Police Department. The suspect then took off with an undisclosed amount of money. Police say a vehicle that may have been involved in the robbery was later located and a search warrant was found, but nobody has been taken into custody yet. Officers are asking anyone with information on the robbery to call the Pocatello Police Detectives Division. Multiple police officers were called to a Kearns neighborhood after reports of shots fired. Officers responded around 8:45 p.m. Several agencies, K-9 units, and a helicopter were called to assist in a search after an hour-long heavy search in the area. Police said they found no evidence of a shooting. The Logan High School football team has a new head coach, Carson Mund. The 31-year-old with 11 years of coaching experience was introduced to the team Wednesday afternoon, speaking with his players for the first time. Mund, a graduate of Box Elder High School, began his coaching career at his alma mater in 2010 and has spent a combined, though not completely consecutive, 5 seasons with the Bees as an assistant coach, including the 2022 season. He also served as an assistant at Weber in 2015 and 2020 and at Logan from 2016 to 2017. From 2019 to 2020, Mund was the head coach of West Jordan, where he had an overall record of 8-14 in 2 seasons. Most of Mund's assignments as an assistant have been on the offensive side of the ball, including being an offensive coordinator, although Mund has also coached defense at times. When asked about the decision to apply for and take the Logan job, Mund emphasized the tradition of the school and the community that supports it. Logan took several weeks to hire its new head coach after parting ways with Bart Bowen following the end of the 2022 football season. KBNU News Time is 4:41.
Lots of closeouts and store-wide specials as U&I gets ready for new arrivals coming from the furniture market. Dining room sets, sectional sofa and loves, and chairs. If you're not happy with the chair you're watching TV in, come pick out a recliner for U&I's big selection. And if you need a new bed, their favorite new mattress is a therapeutic with copper-infused memory foam. You can tell by just placing your head on that bed how comfortable and cool it is to sleep on. Shop U&I's sale now. Get the low sale price and lay it away until your tax refund shows up. Always a better buy. U&I Furniture, downtown Logan.
Definitely colder weather today than yesterday. Yesterday's high was in the low 30s. Today we've been to 21. This morning our low was 2. Partly cloudy is our forecast for tonight. Low 0 to 5 above, and then partly cloudy then clearing on Friday. High temperature in the upper 20s. And hazy conditions returning Friday and Saturday. Saturday, mostly cloudy and mid-30s for the high. Right now, it's 19 at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Bring back the sounds you've been missing. Schedule a free hearing evaluation with Dr. Paul Daines at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Cheryl bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report on behalf of Jeff Olson and Edward Jones. Stocks turned sharply negative in late-day trading. Equity markets pared back early gains and finished the day lower, even as better-than-feared earnings were released after the bell yesterday, including Disney. Investors have been keeping a close eye on this round of earning results to see how corporations have fared amid high inflation. Sentiment is still sour as investors expect the Fed to tighten further. 10-year Treasury yields also reversed this morning's move, finishing higher around 3.68%. Asian shares are lower today, while European markets are up sizably. Oil closed around $77 a barrel as stockpiles continue to grow. Jobless claims climbed to 196,000, higher than expectations, a sign that layoffs could be starting to have an impact on the overall labor market. The Fed is keeping a close eye on the labor market, using the strength or weakness as a sign that rate hikes are working to slow inflation. The Fed would prefer to see the historically strong labor market cool somewhat, but not send it into a tailspin and cause a recession. We think the case for a soft landing this year has grown increasingly improbable, and it's likely we'll see a recession develop in the next few quarters. The Dow closed down 248 points at 33,701. The NASDAQ closed down 121 points at 11,790. The S&P 500 closed down 36 points at 4,082. And in the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 3.67%, higher by 0.02 percentage points. This has been today's Financial Market Report, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Jeff Olson, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 580 North Main in Logan. If you would like additional information, please contact our branch office at 435-787-8170. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
Help your car do better in the cold weather with these items from your locally owned Napa Auto Parts. Save up to $19 a pair on silicone wiper blades from Trico and Rain-X. Diesel additives from Howes, Power Service, Schaefer's, and Stanadyne are all in stock. Get a $20 rebate on Napa Legend and Napa AAA batteries. Night vision headlights, 50% off. Great parts, great service at your 5 locally owned Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts.
Napa!
Happy birthday to our favorite appliance expert, Daryl. This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. It's Daryl's birthday and we're celebrating in style. Come on down to Daryl's and enter to win a brand new microwave. This week only, get a limited edition Daryl's t-shirt with purchase. That's not all. We're also bringing out Daryl's very own Harley. It'll be on display in our showroom for the week. Come on down and celebrate with us. Don't miss out on the birthday specials happening now at Daryl's Appliance, west on Airport Road.
You see this guy.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People.
Burt Bacharach.
A little more Burt Bacharach.
That's nice.
This is, it was interesting. Burt Bacharach, again,
Thanks,
for those
Bill.
who didn't know, passed away.
Anytime.
Or the news was made public today that he passed away, and at 93. And one of my, I forgot to say this when we were talking about it earlier, Charlie, but I took a one music class in college, a music theory class, actually. And Burt Bacharach was part of the discussion for an entire day or two because his music was so positive. You know, positive is not the right word because some of his songs are sad, but optimistic. That'd be a better word. He made an entire career out of recording optimistic love songs. And not everyone will realize they know him, but when you hear them, you know them. Even if you're 10.
Well, and whenever I hear Burt Bacharach, it takes me back to family trips with the 8-track tape in the car because my dad had plenty of Burt Bacharach,
really,
and Herb Alpert's 8-tracks that he would play, and so we'd tool along the highway.
He was a popular. I shouldn't even read this, but a listener in the chat here said Burt Bacharach was the Justin Bieber of his day. That's mean.
Bull.
Justin Bieber is not. Let me put it this way: Burt Bacharach was talented. Justin Bieber is well produced.
You know, there is this weird thing. People look at Burt Bacharach's music now and say, it was all smooth and all that other no talent. People look at Michael Bolton.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Bolton was terrible. Michael Bolton sold millions of records in the 80s.
And had a great voice.
But styles change. And what we're doing is looking at them with a a sense of presentism.
Yeah, comparing them to modern pop music.
And modern pop music is junk.
It really, modern pop music is interesting to me because it's more musical sound based than. There was this era in pop music, Burt Bacharach, Neil Diamond made an entire career over this, of the singer-songwriter pop musician.
Neil Sedaka.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
And now I think we're in an era of pop music that's more production. People like something that sounds good, I get that. But it's more about what happens in the studio as far as the production rather than the talent behind the songwriting and the singer.
And how you can dress them.
Yeah.
Or undress them.
What they do at the Met Gala, what they're wearing. That's, it's an interesting era in pop. But
I'm glad you think so.
I prefer... But I definitely prefer the singer-songwriter era in pop. Some of the greatest songs came out of that era.
And you look at Burt Bacharach, he only did one musical, Promises, Promises.
Oh, yeah.
Was very successful in its era. It's almost never performed nowadays.
Wonder why.
I don't know. It was revived a few years ago, and they added a bunch of Burt Bacharach songs.
That's, I think, honestly, and the other thing too, this man toured. The tours got smaller, I know, but he toured into his 70s. Maybe even 80s. He wouldn't do big, worldwide tours anymore, but I know he did a tour in which he actually had a stop in Salt Lake City sometime in the 2000s. He was at the East Center in Salt Lake, and there's something to be said for that too.
I mean, he was a composer. He was talented.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't John Tesh, for God's sake.
No. And he made a lot of careers, too.
Yes.
That's what I think's interesting about him. He brought a lot of people up.
Jill O'Hara, Jerry Orbach.
Yeah.
Jerry
Orbach
protege, went
right?
from Promises to Law and Order.
Yeah. And
he was a stage actor. He was a stage performer.
That was somebody that could have easily kind of slipped through the cracks and ended up with a lengthy career because Burt Bacharach said, no, this guy's talented, hire him. Mm-hmm. It's very cool stuff.
And he wasn't he wasn't the best singer for the kind of music that Burt Bacharach had written for Promises. But he was a personality. It worked.
And I think Bacharach and others kind of came off of this wave that was if you look at the timeline of musical history, it was kind of started by Sinatra and that whole Rat Pack crowd where, like you said, they were great singers and musicians at times and performers, but they were also a bit of a personality themselves.
Oh, sure.
And that's sort of what drove a lot of their careers. But one thing I have to say about Burt Bacharach, no scandals. A lifelong career.
That's true.
No scandals whatsoever.
That's true.
Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio for the Theater Hour, and we'll have more right after this.
Dr. Josh Redd, chiropractic physician, explains how Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
If you have low thyroid and you're taking thyroid medication, the biggest question you should ask yourself is what's causing my low thyroid specifically? If you don't know the answer to that question, it's important to call us. At Red River, we identify triggers that will cause the low thyroid to begin with. One of the most common causes of low thyroid is a disease called Hashimoto's disease. This is an autoimmune disease that is a lot more complicated than just a primary thyroid issue. This is why people will be on thyroid hormone but still feel little to no improvement because nothing's being done to address the bigger, more complicated problem, which is Hashimoto's. If you have low thyroid or you have an autoimmune disease and you're on medication and still don't feel well, call Red River.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
Now that the holidays are over, are you feeling the need to declutter and get that stale, closed-up smell out of your home? You should have your air ducts cleaned by the Duct Hunter. The dust that accumulates over time can appear as surface dust and can cause your home to smell musty and dusty. Call the Duct Hunter at 770-4813.
As a small business, achieving your financial goals and ambitions can be a steep and rocky mountain climb. This is Lance Zollinger, president at Cache Valley Bank. To conquer the mountain and achieve your goals, it takes planning, hard work, and discipline. At Cache Valley Bank, we have the resources, expertise, and flexibility to help you scale your way to success. Give us a call. Let's work together and climb the mountains that await. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Lots of closeouts and store-wide specials as UNI gets ready for new arrivals coming from the furniture market. Dining room sets, sectionals, sofa and loves, and chairs. If you're not happy with the chair you're watching TV in, come pick out a recliner from UNI's big selection. And if you need a new bed, their favorite new mattress is a Therapeutic with copper-infused memory foam. You can tell by just placing your head on that bed how comfortable and cool it is to sleep on. Shop UNI's sale now. Get the low sale price and lay it away until your tax refund shows up. Always a better buy, UNI Furniture, downtown Logan.
I had completely forgotten about this. I remember seeing this young.
It's a good show. It's based on The Apartment, the old Shirley MacLaine, Jack Lemmon movie.
Oh, that's right.
I remember that movie.
Yeah.
That was a classic.
It's
a super movie.
Yeah. Hilarious, actually. Burt Bacharach dead at 93. The news out today. Just kind of celebrating him a little bit because he did, as Charlie mentioned, he did a musical called Promises, Promises. It was huge at the time and then just kind of didn't stay huge, which now I'm really wanting to know why that hasn't, because as I think more about the plot, and it could be modernized.
They revived it, and they packed it with other Burt Bacharach songs, Say a Little Prayer, those kind of things. So it became sort of a compendium of his work, as opposed to a musical that he had composed. So.
Yeah, that's honestly just a very talented person, and a lot of careers that he brought along with him.
And we'll defend him down to the ground.
Yeah,
because he's our era.
Well, and I tell you, that singer-songwriter era of music is I think still one of the unbeatable eras of pop music. Mm-hmm. There is nothing that compares, and it's even we've gotten to the point now where some of the songs do sound dated, but the datedness is actually kind of part of their appeal.
It's nostalgia.
Now the nostalgia of that sound, that you hear some of those songs start and you know what era it came from, and but yeah, it was a really unique era in pop music that hasn't been repeated since, which is unfortunate. I hope we're on the cusp of a cycle back into that, where it's less about production and star quality and more about the singer-songwriter style of pop music, because just some classic songs came out of that. And I did a quick Google search just to see, because I know Neil Diamond has a long list of these, but I did a quick search for Burt, and Neil Diamond remains the most covered singer-songwriter artist from that era, but Bacharach not far behind. His songs have been covered a lot, and there was a recent listicle via BuzzFeed where readers got to vote, and their favorite use of a Burt Bacharach song, and I can't remember the scene, though I've seen the movie, was the use of What's New Pussycat in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the Hunter S. Thompson movie. And I can't remember that song, but that was an audience favorite in the voting there. But some cool stuff. Just a few minutes left, and I know we have stuff coming up that we'll be talking about. I just want to point everyone to this, because if you're a fan of theater, of musicals, of the Utah Festival Opera, it's official. It's been added to Wendy Hassan's Cash Arts page. We knew it was coming. The schedule had already been announced, but it's officially there. The ticket buying link for the July 5th to August 5th UFO and musical theater season is officially live. That's really the center point of the theater season throughout the year. But next week, what will we have to talk about? We've got something opening, right?
Yeah, we'll have stuff to talk about. Don't worry about it.
Plenty to do.
Yep.
I love this. Newsies coming up February 24th. If you're a ballet fan, World Ballet Series Cinderella has been added to the calendar as well. Check it out, casharts.org. Charlie Schill has been our guest. Every Thursday at 4, he joins us for the Theater Hour. You can read his work between now and next Thursday at cashvalleydaily.com. And we'll be back with Hour 2 of today's show. See what went down on Capitol Hill. Check in with our friends at the Family Place and more. That's Hour 2 right after this here on KVNU Logan.
News Talk KVNU, Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM. The power of